Thank you, Justice. And, good morning, everyone. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Have we sung the youth anthem yet? Is it on the program? So can we do that? All right. Who would volunteer to lead us in that? Okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Shall we be on our feet? So the anthem should be sung in a thunderous manner. We should bring down the roof.
Young people involved in the necessary processes that concerns the growth and development of our nation. I'm particularly excited that this also coincides very much with the red budget, I think 2 days ago, that also brought to light as to whether we will see the realities reflecting beyond the promises of the new government, right? I would like to take the opportunity to point some key highlights that I picked personally from the budget presentations. And also yesterday, YEFO also had an ex-storm engagement of young people on their thoughts on the budget. I'll also take a few minutes to just give a brief highlight of what young people also think about the budget that was just read some few days ago. I would like to first of all also commend the new government for the new Youth Development and Empowerment Ministry. That has been a long, at least as far as I can remember, since the year 2010, YEFO Ghana and other youth organizations in Ghana have been calling for the need to decouple the Ministry of Youth from the Ministry of Sports. And you can all attest to the fact that when those two ministries were together, a lot of attention was on sports to the detriment of youth development. And I think that as a first sign, maybe, of commitment to ensuring that we meet the target of really addressing the youth needs of this country, a new youth ministry has been dedicated. And of course, we look forward to monitoring and also ensuring that the new youth ministry meets the needs of the thieving young people that we have in the country. And I am confident that it is at least a first step to show government's commitment to ensuring that young people are given the needed support and empowerment. And I can only call for us, this our generation and the generation behind us and the generation to come, that we should take advantage of the opportunities that this new youth ministry brings on board and make sure that we keep an eye, and I'm sure it is one of the core focus that is going to come out of this engagement. How do we even keep an eye and track how these policies and promises are going to be impactful on young people? I take note of the fact that prior to the elections, NDC or the new government had taken time to launch the Youth Manifesto. Probably it goes down history as maybe the first political party to tailor its manifesto to address youth concerns. We followed it closely because we were part of an advocacy process that actually engaged the respective party manifesto committees that developed their general party manifestos. So for us, it came as very good news that a good step was taken. Now, taking track of this youth manifesto, we take note of 100 overall promises made from 10 different thematic areas on youth that were captured in this manifesto. Linking that to what happened just 2 days ago, from what the budget statement tried to target, we can trace just about 6 out of the 100 promises so far that were captured or attempted, the minister attempted to capture in the budget statement. For me, and as a youth activist, it's already an area of concern we should begin to look at. So if you have not had the opportunity to look at the youth manifesto, please use the time you spend on social media to do that and arm yourself and match it against what the budget has provided. Match it against the promises of the government. Then we can have a conversation that will really let the government know that we are not sleeping as young people, right? We appreciate, among the 100 promises, the CODES program, which has been allocated about 100 million. We also appreciate the continuation of the apprenticeship program, which has been allocated about 300 million. And then the Ejumedie, about 100 million. Of course, the free tertiary education for PWDs, I think it's a welcome news, right? The free sanitary pad is welcome news. The free tertiary, right? But there are many others that has to translate into our packets, right? So I would want to say that there's a whole lot of opportunity in all these, evolving issues within the youth context that we can take advantage of to make a very strong case to get the needed development that we envisage for ourselves and the future. Of course, I take good note of the uncapping of the GET fund. And what does that mean? That means that if there were stalled projects, probably now we will get more funding to improve the infrastructure situation in their respective educational institutions where young people are pursuing different backgrounds of academic professions. So that is good news. But we are concerned, or young people are raising issues of the return of the nursing and training, teacher training allowances. Especially that they have also assumed tertiary status, right? Why wouldn't that allocation have been added, probably to the existing student trust fund, to put everybody on the same level playing ground, right? The other issue young people raised, just from yesterday's conversation, around this issue of return of the allowances, is that when you finish training college, 90% of your job is secured, right? And then university graduate comes out and it takes you forever, sometimes. So young people feel that something has to be done in this aspect. I think that is a gap that we could quickly see from the reintroduction of this. Young people are also asking or requesting that with the introduction of the free sanitary pad, focus should be given, opportunity should be given to local industries, right? Because there are young people who are engaged in producing this sanitary pad locally. So the focus should be on getting them so that it expands the economic potentials in this space for many more young people. This is just a brief highlight from what has transpired. And I want to believe that it will certainly have some pointers for your reflections as we engage in this very important discussion today. And I trust that CDD will certainly get our voices to the right places. Once again, I would like to thank you all, and I wish you all a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Vera, for welcoming us and also capturing the youth aspect of the budget that was read. We shall proceed with our program, and I have the singular honor to invite to the podium the Director for Policy Engagement and Partnership of the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante.
All right. I know we are fasting, but you see, you can't do these things without energy. So please, we'll still need your energy, all right, so that we can contribute and part of the conversation. I'm just going to say a few words because I want us to get to the reason why we are here. I think, how many people voted in the last elections? That means everybody's an adult here. Is everybody an adult here? Hey, some people are not, but I saw that they were raising their hand that they voted. Okay, all right. Okay, you know, normally when the voting is done, after all the stress and everything, we all just go and wait on the sidelines and wait to the next election. There is no way that we can get what we want if we don't stay active in the governance space. Remember that sovereignty rests with you. Right? You are the people. That's why you went to give power to a group of people to go and serve your interests. But just like when you send somebody, you'll be checking on the person whether or not they are doing what you wanted done. You don't wait till they've messed it up before you go and check whether they should have done the right thing or not. So that's the same concept. As citizens, we have to stay interested. What are they doing with your money? And if anybody says you don't pay tax, don't believe them. Because when you go and buy something, they charge you VAT. So you're also contributing. So somebody is using your money. But the money they are using, they are supposed to use it for your benefit. So you should be interested in it. Ideally, it shouldn't matter whether it's one government or the other. Because if every government comes and we are on top of them to make sure they do what they need to do, as for citizens, we don't care. As long as you deliver for us, we are happy. Right? And I think we have an opportunity in the next couple of years, because this government has made a commitment to reset, right? To push a lot of reforms. So our contribution was that we need to get citizens ready. right after the election. We shouldn't wait till the next 4 years. Let's all get involved now. There's a lot of promises that were made. Maybe you come to government, you realize that some of it is not the way that you were seeing it. Come and have a conversation with the people. Maybe together we can all agree how we move forward, rather than go and waste all the money on something that won't benefit anybody. So the whole purpose is just the start. But the whole message for us is that we want young people who are the majority of the population to get involved in the governance process. Every day, we are not saying that today when you leave, you forget. Some people say they don't even listen to radio again because this and that. Please, listen to radio. Know what is going on. Okay? So today is the exercise. We have a lot of partners here. We have Democracy Hub here. Oliver came with us. We have Youth Empowerment for Life. We have Youth Leadership Parliament with us, Youth Bridge Foundation with us. We are all interested in giving young people a voice. In the last election, 60% of registered voters were between 18 and 35. So you decided the election. It is your election. So if you decide to leave it for it to go to waste or whatever, please don't come 4 years and come and complain. No. Right? So the work starts now. Right? The work starts now. So we are just here. We want as many young people to, first of all, have a better knowledge of what's going on. That will make them empowered. Also, then have the skills to engage. And then you begin to demand the accountability. Right? And sometimes when you have the knowledge, the way you demand the accountability is also clear because you know what is happening. So you know that you are not exaggerating. It is something that you know can be delivered, and that's why you're asking it to be delivered. All right. So let me welcome all of you. I know it's not everybody who's coming from Tamale. Some are coming from outside of Tamale. Who is coming from outside of Tamale? Okay, great. You're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. This is being broadcast live on Facebook, YouTube pages as well, and then on Justice Radio. I think the radio people are also picking it up, right? So you are in the room here, but there are many people who are also outside listening to you. The other thing I want to say is that you don't have to speak English. I know we are in a training college. So there is no compulsion for you to speak English. If you want to communicate in your local language, we will have people help translate it. Even your friends can translate it for us, right? So that those of us who are listening to us who may not have your level of education, they can also understand what we are talking about. So that's why I try to change the setting. I want us to have a conversation. I don't want it to be like we are just talking across ourselves, right? Okay. So can we just go through? Let me just tell you where we are coming from. We've been doing these engagements. Who is doing the? Okay. Where is the? Technology. Okay. Hey. Okay, somebody can operate it for me. Yeah, okay, all right. Please subscribe to the CDD pages. This year we'll have a lot of work that we are doing in the regions, in the districts, around constitutional reform, around how we finance our parties and our politics, local government reform. We want to hear you. You have to participate because this is your country and you have to make it better for yourself. Nobody is going to come and make it better for you. All right. So please follow us on X, on Facebook. I know these days young people say they don't do Facebook, so Instagram and other platforms. Yes. Yes, and these are our partners. Yes, with Youth Empowerment for Life, Youth Bridge, Democracy Hub, Youth Advocates Ghana, Youth Leadership Parliament, and the Multimedia Group. So we partnered with the Multimedia Group, particularly to help with local language, use of local language in a lot of the areas that we have been in. And I think it's been really, really great. So we'll continue to do that with them as we go on through the year. Next slide, please. So we've done 10 regions already. We were in Bono, Upper West, Nariegu, I think, Eastern, Northeast, Western, Bono East, Oti, Ashanti, Central, Greater Accra. And those were regional town halls. This week and next week, we are doing special town halls. So we identify young people because, as I said, they are the majority of the population. And then women, who are also the majority of the population, persons with disability, and then pensioners and the aged. So the youth, the National Youth Town Hall is happening in Tamale, right? And then the women one would happen in Ho next week. And then the aged, pensioners, and then PWDs in Accra, all next week. So basically, you are here also representing a national conversation among young people, right? So all right, so I talked about the special meetings. Yeah. The format is simple. We want to keep the conversation a little bit more guided. So we have grouped the issues in different parts. Joyce from Youth Bridge, Joyce Nami from Youth Bridge will take a portion of it. Joyce, stand up and let everybody see you. We'll facilitate one session. Oliver, at the back, will facilitate one session. And then whatever they leave for me, I'll facilitate the rest. But it's just to guide the conversation. So don't feel, if you have something different that you think is not being addressed, please feel free. Feel free to share it with us. But also remember that our time is short. So please think about what you're about to say before you say it. Don't grab the microphone and then as we give you the microphone, you are now calculating what you're about to say. And if you are not quite sure, please write it down. It will make it easier for you. But because of the time and because we're on radio, we want to make use of time as best as we can, right? Now, when we finish with all the town halls, we will have a national meeting in Accra where we'll compile it into a report and present it to government. What we want to just basically do is use it as a reference point, right? So that a lot of things are happening. The budget has been read, track it to see to what extent some of these issues are being addressed. All right. So at least with that, we can be sure that government is aware of what issues young people are feeling or what issues they are raising that they want addressed. So those are the areas. There is economy and employment, there is education, youth participation in governance, local government reform, constitutional reform, anti-corruption, galamsey, and then campaign financing or the cost of politics. So there are a lot of issues. And as I said, if your issue is not here, it doesn't mean you cannot ask a question about it. All right? Feel free. Okay, so that's it for me. Anybody has any questions about the format, the flow? Please let me know now before I hand it over to Alo. We are good? We are all good. Those at the back, are we good? Okay, all right. And as I said, it's a conversation. I was trying to do this horseshoe thing, but we still, because of the numbers, we're not able to do it. But know that we are talking among ourselves also as young people. So when I say as young people, today I'm a young person. So I consider myself young. Yes, today. So, all right. Alo, over to you. And thank you very much. Look forward to a very good conversation.
Thank you so much, Doc. Let's do it again. Let's give it. Yeah. So everyone here, I expect that you talk more. Tidim fila. Tidim fila. Okay? Tidim fila. Let's talk. Okay? As young people, this is our session, and let's ensure that we talk. At this juncture, I would like to take your expectations. Expectations from you. As you are here, what are you expecting from this gathering? So the microphone will go around. Just like Doc said, before you put up your hand, make sure you are ready and you know what you want to say. We don't have much time. We are live on Justice Radio. Justice Radio 98.5. Justice Radio 98.5. They say justice for all. Justice Zabuni. Justice Zabuni. So let's get it going. Let's get it going. So what are your expectations?
So, okay, let me do it this way, Justice.
Right.
So we have members from the Youth Parliament of the Students' Parliament of UDS. We have members of the Regional Youth Parliament, the Regional Youth Network. We have members from FUYAG, and then we have TASE, we have BASE. So I'll be tackling them that way.
All right, sure.
So
that is great.
From the UDS Students' Parliament, what are your expectations?
All right. Thank you very much for
Honorable
this.
member.
Yes.
You are Honorable what?
Saka Yakubu Daniel.
Honorable
Saka Yakubu Daniel.
Saga Ibu Daniel.
Saka Yakubu
Saka
Daniel.
Yakubu Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Right.
what's
So,
your position in your parliament?
Second Deputy Speaker.
Second Deputy Speaker.
Yes,
I'm a former Speaker of the University of Ghana Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, good morning.
So, Honorable, carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. All right, so just like I said, my name is Saka Yakubu Daniel, a member of the UDS Student Parliament, and I'm very much grateful to be part of this wonderful and exciting educating program. Yes, my expectations are very short because I expect the very best of this program. And I believe we, the student parliamentarians, are going to grab something very good over here, go back to our campus and show them, teach them, tell them what we learned over here. And I know very well, a program like this is nothing but an educative program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Daniel.
So from Youth Parliament to Afri-Youth.
Please, you mention your name and
thank you very much.
Your organization.
My name is Mohamed Abdelmati. I am from Afri-Youth.
Okay.
We are a youth organization in Tamale here. And as our core mandate, or what Afri-Youth stands for, we are much interested in youth participation in governance. So today, as we are here, we'll be expecting to learn more on avenues that are available for young people to be able to participate in governance process. Thank you very much.
From his organization, they're expecting to learn more on avenues available for young people to participate in governance. That is very great.
So I would move to the PRO of the Northern Regional Youth Network.
Wow.
Who tell us what their expectations are. So, PRO.
Okay, so good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I am Gafar Aminu, Public Relations Officer for Northern Regional Youth Network. The Youth Network is actually is purely into advocacy and then policy influencing. So we are here as people from this particular space, and we are looking at how we could actually get issues that are actually affecting us as young people, and the kind of advocacy work and activism we can do around such issues. So that's basically my expectation for this particular project.
Very, very good expectation.
So we also have Empowerment Center for Peace Building, a youth organization that is into peace building. So.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm in the person of Hussein Abdel Basit from Empowerment Center for Peace Building. Our main initiative is building peace and promoting significant protection against any violence extremism. And our expectation based on the economy and employment is that the youth contribution to the new government, what the government will produce for the youth to participate in the activities of this new government. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have, I'll come to Taste.
So Tim Tony, I think the females should also speak.
Okay.
We need a gender balance conversation.
Okay, so I would move to base Baga College of Education, the SRC is also here. So great. Basi, a female. A female.
A female,
yes. I think she's here.
Thank you very much. Please, I'm in the person of Cafe Hua Dokas. Honestly, when I saw the title of this event, I was anticipating for one thing. The fact that government spoke about the youth, especially with the teaching sector. He spoke about our allowances. But I was expecting something like the student loan, because the allowance, it comes in bits. And some are not able to usually accumulate it to pay their fees on time. So they are being sacked from exams halls, and they are deprived of other things. And they say that we take allowances. So I was really interested in making a submission to that to see if they could readjust to suit us. Thank you.
So from the representative from the Baga College of Education, she was expecting that from the budget reading, government would have said that they are introducing student loans to the teacher training colleges so that it will help in their payment of their fees and other needs as well, instead of the teacher training allowances that they normally receive, which comes a bit late. Yeah.
Okay, Justice, we have Girls Advocacy Network as well. So
great.
We'll hear from them.
So let the girls advocate.
Good morning. My name is Ibtisam from Girls Advocacy Network. And what we do as Girls Advocacy Network is basically providing spaces, or trying to provide spaces for women voices to be heard. And actually, this program is something I think will be a very insightful and educative one. So, and I'm more interested about the sanitary pass government will be providing for teachers' school. So I'm looking forward to learn more and also go back and tell my advocates, colleague advocates, what I've learned, and that's it.
All right, that's impressive.
So it's also interesting to note that we have Fulbe Youth Association of Ghana.
Come again?
Fulbe.
Okay.
Yes. So we have the Northern Regional Vice President for the group, Ahmad Musa.
Your Excellency.
Thank you. My name is Musa Ahmad. I'm from FUYAG, that is the Fulani Youth Association of Ghana. As young people from this government, I think, one, I expect that there should be fairness in the way they deal with the Fulbe. Let me start from there. I think this one is now, it has become a song. Whenever there is anything like robbery somewhere, they will just go and attack Fulani community that is close there and burn their houses without any proof to whether they are those who caused it or not. This thing has been going on since, and we've been talking about it, but nothing is being done. Anytime something like that happens, they will attack wrongfully and destroy. Now, 2, about the employment, we also expect some fairness there. Everybody here in this hall is aware that, especially the university graduates, when you complete, you have to buy the employment. Everyone here is aware. I'm not the first one talking about it. It's clear. Nobody can deny this. Yes, and the amounts is just from maybe 150 million to something, to more than that. If you don't have that money, how will you then get access to a job? Then what are you going to do if you are jobless? You will be forced to form what? A group of violent people. So I think those things should be stopped with their operation. What is the name even? Is it oral? They should try and also work on those things so that we will have some kind of fairness in the employment sector. Yes. You made me forget what I wanted to add. Yes.
There will be more opportunity.
And also, yes, I wanted to also talk about the EPA, the Environmental Protection Authority, or is it agency? We've been seeing so many things happening here, with some going to even to the extent of creating war. There is up to now hunting in our forests. And those huntings, they destroy so many things. So we expect that the EPA should get up. They should wake up and work on those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We shall come back to you as participants for this dialogue.
I think that the host, I need to give the space to the host to also contribute.
Okay,
to
so
the
that
discourse.
will be the last
one.
one.
Tamale College of Education.
Yes.
I wanted the SASA president to do so, but it appears he's no more here. So who will take care of that? Where's the vice? Where's the PRO?
All right, thank you for the opportunity. I am Eric Dari, the SIC Vice President of this noble college. The host. Yes, the host. Okay, what I am expecting from this meeting is that we are all gathered here with different set of minds. So I come to take from you, you come to take from me, ideas. And I am a youth, a student as well. So my expectation is that what is the surety that when I finish here, I'm going to get a job? Okay. That's my expectation that I want. That how sure are we that when we finish here, we will get what? The job. So it's my expectations about what? Employment. Immediate employment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President of Tamale College of Education.
I've forgotten of my own house.
So your organization will be the last. We don't have much time.
The Northern Regional Youth Parliament.
Yes, so that will be the last one.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Seydou Nusa Jaminja. In fact, I was thinking of what to say about my expectations, but it's just something brief. I'm expecting to see CDD-Ghana going out here, sending our grievances concerning the 2025 budget. In the budget, I actually was expecting to hear something concerning entrepreneurship. I'm speaking on behalf of my colleague entrepreneurs because when the director was making his submission, he said total population of the youth constituted much in the 2024 general election. So for that matter, I expect that as CDD-Ghana is here to take our grievances, they should be able to add up in a report. At least we, the youth entrepreneurs, should be considered in giving opportunities to submit our made in Ghana products so that we can also enjoy this government. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tim Tony.
Justice, I will draw your attention to the. I would like to acknowledge Activista, though they are not. Time is not on our side. So
Yes,
Activista, they are also a youth.
Okay, so Activista, we shall come to you as the presentations go on. At this juncture, we are moving on straight to our presentation, and then I would like you to make your pens and notes ready, and then ready to learn from the presentations. I would like to invite Ms. Joyce Nyami from Youth Bridge Foundation. She's into youth work, and I know that you enjoy her presentation on the economy and employment. Most of you are looking at how government would be able to get you job after school and whatever you are doing. So Ms. Joyce Nyami will do us the honors in doing this presentation. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. We appreciate your time here, even though we know we are fasting. So I just want to take it up from the expectations you've given. We are here to listen to you. It seems you have things that we need to know. So one of the major things that CSOs do or NGOs do is to, one, facilitate inclusive platforms for engagements like this so that we are able to shape your issues to government. But as the young man was saying, he is here to know what's next after school. And then we're on Radio Justice, and Kojo had mentioned that we can't say after school you are going to get a job. That's not why we are here. We are here to give you the entry points into, one, how you can present certain things that you think are grievances. And then, for lack of a better expression, most of the time, some of the things that make young policymakers not listen to young people is the language that we use. So as part of the training, we also urge us to be conscious of the choice of words. So it's not just our grievances, but also the better alternatives that we are looking for, right? So if the government is saying that I'm giving you 50 cedis, that's what the government thinks. But as a young person who is living your experience in Tamale or in whatever community you are, you think that there is a better option, a better alternative. So it could be maybe 55 cedis, 60 cedis, or not even the money, but certain soft skill for you to be able to tap into other things. So for instance, we are all here. How do you make sure that you form networks that you can use after school to be able to get certain government interventions? We know if you need to get certain interventions, there are rules. There are rules and regulations governing everything. So government may not be able to give an individual money, but if you're a cooperative, if you're a group of people, then you can access certain interventions. So platforms like this, how are you able to form groups that you can access certain things as a group where you benefit individually? So these are the open-minded conversations we want to have here, so you are able to shape what you see as concerns, what you see as grievances. So as Kojo has said, these are just contexts for you to be able to shape what you want to see. Okay, so we experience things differently. As young people, from where I come from, we say that we are young. If you say young people, it's not a homogeneous group. It's not just, if you say young people, one, no. So even in terms of the numbers, in terms of the age, it's 18 to 35. So you don't assume that if you are having an intervention for an 18-year-old, that same intervention can work for a 19-year-old. Even with the 18-year-old, if the person is in school, you don't expect to have that same intervention for the 18-year-old who is in school and for the 18-year-old who has never been to school, or for the 18-year-old who is out of school, or for the 18-year-old who dropped out of school. Their needs are different. if you're having an intervention for a 20-year-old who has a child, you don't expect to have the same intervention for a 20-year-old who has no child. You don't expect to have the same intervention for a 20-year-old coming from Gushegu, coming from... So these are the dynamics. And then bringing you together here, one, we want you to appreciate these dynamics. And the Kojo had mentioned that there is a need for capacity. And if you say capacity, we are not looking at that hardcore capacity that you think you need. But in terms of even building your mental capacity to be able to shape your concerns into ways that, for instance, CDD would understand and appreciate it. Two, to the point that your school would understand and appreciate it. There are different language and formats within which you can present these things, even for your friends to be able to understand and come on board to join you. So that's what I would urge all of us to be open-minded and not come with this sort of aggressiveness to say that these are our grievances. But what are your better alternatives? What are you looking for in terms of the economy and employment? So these are just figures that we all know. We are all experiencing it. We are seeing it. So we are saying that for the unemployment rate, it's huge. I mean, I know if you are in school, you are scared. If you are out of school, you are scared. If you haven't been to school, you are scared. Okay? So, I mean, the figures are there. But as I had mentioned, how do we make sure we couch our own solutions? We know that we have the capacity. You have ideas. If you don't have ideas, you wouldn't know that the fact that there is no loans for teachers is not okay. You don't prefer the allowance. It means you know how government can support you. But it's just a matter of presenting it in a way government would understand. Okay? So it's not just about going to stand and say we want this, but there are protocols within which information is processed. So how do you make sure that what you are saying, the government really understand, and then it will inform policy and shape policies? So we are saying that for every 10 young Ghanaians, at least 2 are unemployed. I mean, this is something that we know. And then if you see the figures, I'm not good with figures, but the most important thing with figures is that when you go to the government, then you are able to say that, okay, so if you are looking at my lived experience as a young person, I'm accumulating to these figures that you are putting in the budget. You know the budget has figures, right? So if I'm saying that I don't have a job, I'm saying that I'm a mother of 2, I don't have money to take my kids to school. Maybe unless it's a different sector, government will not understand what I'm saying. But if I say that my situation adds up to the X number of young female mothers who are doing X and Z, the government is able to say that, oh, okay, so if you are looking at solving this issue, this is how we go about it. And then you feel empowered that you've been able to add to what government is saying. Okay, so as we said, this is a contest to shape you. So we
2. 2. 2. 2.
Reactivate the sinking fund, establish strategic buffers, and create an independent public debt management office to maintain sustainable debt levels. Shall I explain? Reactivate the sinking fund, establish strategic buffers, and create an independent public debt management office to maintain sustainable debt levels.
Thank you very much.
A sinking fund could mean near to collapsing. Near to collapsing. Sinking fund. Sinking fund, yes. Something that is, a fund that is near to collapsing, yes.
To the best of my knowledge, the sinking fund is a fund that was created by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in 2016. And the use for that fund was to create a fund and then allocate some money to that fund for emergency purposes.
I think so. So you are trying to explain that the fund that is sinking. So basically,
You had something else to add?
Okay, thank you. Please, the sinking fund is funds that are kept aside to solve emergency or immediate problems in the country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will have another set of conversations. So you tell us how you understand this. Okay, so we want someone else to read the second. So let's, the fifth, so 2, 3, 4, 5, so that we go in 10. Who wants to read the second, third, and fourth? So 2, 3, number 4, number 5, number 4, number 5, and lady, number 5, number 5. Okay, please.
Restructure the Bank of Ghana to improve efficiency, ensure price and financial stability, restore public confidence, and drive economic growth and job creation.
So I'm reading the third one. Okay. Prioritize self-financing projects and promote partnerships to reduce government liabilities and enhance economic resilience.
Okay, number 4.
Establish a Ministry of Youth Development and create a National Employment Bureau to manage an employment database for young people.
Launch the Ejumara project to support 1,000 youth-led businesses annually, while scaling up small and medium enterprises, that's SMEs, at the district level.
Okay, so the first one was some of the highlights and these. For lack of time, I would want us to just glance through because these are going to shape our conversations. So these are the priorities in 2025 per the budget reading. I don't know if you were able to listen to the budget, but I think Madam had helped us with some of the issues and then these as well. So just a quick glance at this and then we move to the next one.
Maybe go through that so that if people want, in their questions, they want to comment.
Okay. Okay, so the first one, strengthening of social protection interventions. I don't know if we understand social protection. This word is pregnant with lots of things. through new interventions programs like the No Academic Fee Policy under the No Fee Stress Initiative. And then there are figures. So the free tertiary education for persons with disability, free primary health care, and the Ghana Medical Care Trust, Mahama Cares, and the free sanitary pad for schoolgirls. So these are the priorities that the government is saying that in the budget. I think one of the most important things is when we hear promises in the manifestos during campaigns. For activists, it's important we get the commitment through the figures. I mean, the next level is to see the allocations come into reality. But it's important that these are the commitments the government is establishing for 2025. And the next one is a review of the Labor Act, GIPC Act, and other enabling legislation to support the implementation of the 24-hour economy. We know that there are certain things government cannot do without proper frameworks and legislation. So it's also important to note and applaud the government for committing to this. The next level is to see how implementation is done. So it's not just for your information, it's for you to note, and then as Kosi said, Kojo said, how you are able to demand accountability. If you don't know what the government is promising, you won't be able to demand accountability. And the third point is on capping of the GET fund as a remedy to the financing difficulties experienced with the free HS policy and the full financing of free tertiary education for persons with disability. You remember Kojo had mentioned that another target town hall meeting is with persons with disability. There is a need for us to have an inclusion when it comes to this conversation. So it's important that government is prioritizing persons with disability in the budget. Then the fourth is budgetary increase of the school feeding program from 1.344 billion to 1.788 billion in 2025. Aren't you interested in following this and chasing this number to make sure that it's done and that we see how it impacts the alternative you are looking for? So if you have a sibling in school who did not get a better meal, and then the government is saying that in its mind, when there is an increase, there will be an increase in terms of quality, in terms of even the quantity or whatsoever. I think as young people, we should be interested in following these figures and making sure that indeed we get them and we get to that better alternative that we are talking about. And the fifth one is allocation of 300 million Ghana cedis to the National Apprenticeship Program. So our brother was talking about entrepreneurs, and then this is something you'll be interested in. So as we said, we are giving you the context, the blocks. So as you said, you still be thinking about which of these you are interested in and which of these you want to follow, right? As CDD collates your information and present to government and say that this is what the youth of northern region or the northern zone are saying. What will you be doing? There are levels, entry points from the district level. You should be following these figures because it trickles down to you. So how do you also make sure you also feed CDD with the information even when we move from here? So kindly keep these, and then if you need any clarity in terms of how you shape your interest in following the numbers here, let us know how we can all support ourselves. And the sixth one is allocation of 100 million to the Ejumara program. You know the Ejumara program? You haven't heard it? You haven't? We will discuss more and see what it is. Because I think maybe it will be important we have time to really understand these policies, these interventions, and how they are able to fit into the alternatives that we are looking for. But these are just highlights, so we will attend to them back in the event. Okay, so no, we are to the questions. The questions. Yes, here. Yeah. The question, do you have a conversation here? Yeah. Okay, so those are the highlights we've given. If there is any question, if there is any clarity, but these are questions that we want you to ponder upon as you are thinking about better alternatives. So we want to have a conversation, we want to listen to you, whether these interventions really align to your expectations, your aspirations as young persons, in terms of economy and employment, the first part. Hello, are we together? We are hot. People are fanning themselves. Hello. So I had mentioned that we are just giving context for us to have a very tailored conversation. So we had given some figures as to what the economy and employment is looking now for us as young people. And there is a lot of unemployment when it comes to young people. So we are saying that when you take 10 young people, 2 are unemployed, and that's scary. And then we had gone the next level to highlight some of the things that the government had prioritized in terms of economy and employment, where we had the slide where our young participant had helped us to read, and also some of the interventions I had read. And then I'm saying that these are questions that we want you to ponder upon. So you had your expectations. Are the highlights in alignment to what you are aspiring as a young person? Do the highlights speak to what you are anticipating? Because we want you to be able to follow these highlights to the core. Kojo had mentioned that we are looking at how you become active citizens. So democracy is how the people are able to demand accountability. And then the first step for me is for you to know the issues. Because if you don't know that this S amount of money has been committed to, for instance, school feeding program, how do you go to the office and say that, why is my younger sister not having egg with her rice, right? But if we are saying that we are increasing the allocation to this number, you should have an expectation that the increase should come with something, should come with a result. And what is that result? And I feel that that result might link into your better alternative, that option that you think will improve your life as a young person. So we want to have a conversation around it. If you have any question, how you think, even government, we can propose and recommend to government how you think these highlights can be beneficial. Right? One of the fundamentals for some of these community engagement is to really understand how these play out in the communities. So we write things, and then when it comes to practicalities, it might differ. So how do you think these align to your aspirations? How do you think these align to what you are looking out for? So the gentleman had mentioned he was really looking out for certain things in terms of entrepreneurship. There's a mention there. Is it enough? How do you make sure it's enough for you? If it's not enough, how do you make sure it's enough? You are looking at loans. There is a mention of something like that. Is it enough? It might not be a loan, but is what government's prioritizing for 2025 enough for you as a young person in relation to the economy and employment? Please, are we together? Okay. So it's an open forum.
Please, thank you. My name is Ula Dokas Kafiehoa. Please, could you please take us to the fourth question? The fourth one. Please, not this. I'm talking of the policies. Okay, thank you. So, with the fourth one, Sorry. For yes, please. Yes, please. So my question falls under the school feeding program. So mine is a submission, and is that if they could do it based on region basis, so the food will be supplied within regions. It will even help improve on the economic life of that particular region as well. I made enquiries not satisfactory because I was still making inquiry about it as to where food is being supplied from to the various schools. Because sometimes there are delayances. You will go and they will say they don't have this because provision have not been made. But I think that if it is done on region basis, it will be very easy for them to do that. Aside that, we can also readjust to our systems. During farming season, because of harvest, we know that there are some particular foods that are at a low cost. So we can also draw our menu for the various schools to be in line with our pattern. So when it's yam season, you see the cost for you to buy 3 or 4 tubers of yam to prepare for the students, it will be cheaper than when you make a fixed or a rigid menu for the whole year, knowing very well that there are seasons that going to purchase for that yam is twice or thrice of its price at this season. Thank you so much.
All right, please, can we go back to the questions? Yeah, I want to tackle the first question about the measures I'm going to propose to the government that I think will reduce the cost of living in Ghana. And when you look at, first of all, my name is Vincent Yada, Majority Leader, UDS Parliament. All right, if you look at an economy or every economy, there are 3 indicators that drives the economy. 1 is inflation, 2 is interest rate, and 3 is the exchange rate. And so to reduce the cost of living, you must first of all tackle the high rate of inflation. You must also tackle the interest rate. You must make sure that the interest rates are very low so that they can borrow at a very, low interest rate so that they can be able to pay in the future. And then the third one is to the exchange rate to tackle it. And I'm going to start by the inflation, the measures I'm going to propose to tackle inflation in Ghana. Then number 1, I think we need to, increase productivity. And when I say productivity, I'm talking about trying to help local industries to be able to produce more, and we should be able to patronize the local industries, especially the 24-hour economy. If we are able to produce more to satisfy us and even export, to reduce import, I think that we are going to have a stable economy, and we are not going to waste time on importing and paying taxes, and when it comes to Ghana, then we have to pay more for the taxes. And so that's one of the solutions that I am proposing. And secondly, I think I'm happy that there is a much allocation in the agri sector. About 300 million, Ghana cedis have been allocated. And I'm much happy because as a country, to grow in a country, we have to be able to invest in agriculture. And when you're able to do that successfully, it means that you are going to actually be able to feed your population without necessarily depending from foreign, countries. Example, in the case of Ghana, we are importing a lot of rice from our neighboring countries. All right, we are importing rice from Thailand and other countries. When we can actually, empower empower our farmers in Ghana to be able to produce more rice for local consumption. And I think these are some of the measures I'm proposing. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Oh? No. Who was number 4? Okay, sorry.
My name is Ibrahim Ishmael, and I'm a member of Afro Youth Movement. My contribution is going to be based on agribusiness. I come from Tamale here. I'm a native of Tamale, and then where I stay is on the N1 road, the highway. And what I see every day, in a full day, if I don't count, I can confidently say that I can count about 10 to 15 or sometimes 20 truckloads of tomatoes coming through from Burkina. So I've been asking myself, if we have this amount as a country to be able to import tomatoes, the last time I heard on news that we are spending close to $50 million or something, and then youth as me, we have vast land in the northern part here, flat land that you can see acres. You don't, we don't invest enough in the youth for us to also be able to grow those tomatoes so that we can fill that cap that we are giving to Burkina Faso for free. Because IC is free. When you sit outside my house in front of the road, they pass morning, evening, afternoon, bringing in the goods. So I ask myself, as a country, how can we go forward if we continue giving our money to another country? There were times that... Yes, please. Why are you not in agric? What are you doing now currently? Currently, I am not into agric, but I am a student of UDS, and then I went to what we call community, the TTFPP. So the community they stationed me, it was a tomato farming community, but unfortunately they didn't have any irrigational facility to farm all year round. So there's an opportunity there. But are you interested, for example, I am very much interested because I see there's money there. At use. There's money there. It's not small money. Yes. Apart from... So apart... So why is it that, and I'm sure a lot of people don't have employment? Yes.
So why is it that nobody is able to find land, or even as a cooperative, like a group of friends, try and find land to start farming? What is the problem?
So most importantly, apart from the money and the passion, the drive for farming, when we went to the community, what I observed was that the people were so much in love with their job, but they had so many...
So this is very important. And then as Kojo had said, we are not just here to take the boxes. He's not trying to put him on the spot. So it's not, we are smiling, but it's not funny. We are trying to get to the fundamental issues that we are facing. Okay? So we are not saying that go into agric, but we are saying that, and he's making a submission that he's seen this, he's seen that, and then why are you not? And then it's not just a question to him. I think the question is to all of us. Why is it that we see the problem and we are not able to help? So please, let's just minimize the giggling and listen up. And that's the kind of community-based solutions we are trying to get from you. So please, kindly let's minimize the giggling and just listen. If you have any other additional points, you can add up, please.
So as I was talking, so when in fact, I'm going to thank UDS for giving me that opportunity, because I never knew this thing I was talking about. I've been seeing it for years, but I never knew there was a community who were so interested in going into that venture until I went there. But I got discouraged because I saw the problems they were facing. One was there were no agri products.
2 was they had money to even buy fertilizers, but the fertilizers were not even available. 3 was a stable irrigational facility. They didn't have one. 4 was those who would come and purchase after their harvest. There were times they will harvest and they would go to waste. There were times those who come and buy, because they know that they are vulnerable, they will not buy the goods at the amount they were supposed to buy it. So as I went there and then I followed up doing investigations, I got to realize that, yes, if these people are this passionate like this and they are following this thing like this, me that is not coming from the village, how can I be able to overcome these obstacles they were talking about? But when I started doing follow-up, can you believe that I asked them when was the last time they saw an agri extension officer? And they told me that they can't even remember. And someone said it's past 5 years. So as a country, how do we get to fill this opportunity? Because it's not a gap, it's an opportunity. $50 million is not small money. The way I think, I don't see it to be small money. And if we can fill it, it can employ more than 5,000 youth. Ready cash. Thank you.
We are also thinking through how, before we get to the 50,000, we are able to just improvise a solution to make sure we are starting on a small level, where you are able to just produce maybe 1 carton of tomatoes, and then people see that this is happening, and then you get the support you need. It's important you don't just sit and say that you are looking for $50,000, but how do you make sure the 1 city that you have, that network that you have, you are able to mobilize the young people who are interested in making sure you farm, you get the land, you move on, and you come and tell CDD that, oh, CDD, you've done this, how are you able to support us? That's also important. We need to move from just sitting and brooding and saying this and that. How do you make sure we improvise? Back in the tertiary schools, we call it, I've forgotten, there's this name. So when you are on the 5th floor, there was no lift. So you tie sponge in a long rope, and you put the bucket to the sponge, and you put it down, and you buy something. You don't want to get down because there is no lift. So you take sponges and you put a bucket, and you put in what you want to buy. It comes down. Anyone passing, oh, Charlie, can you see this? The person will take the bucket, look at what is written in the bucket, and buy it and put it back, and you pull it up. So then, how do you make sure you live? Because you have to live, right? So that's the kind of inspiration we want to give you. So let's get the young one, and then we come to the next round.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Abdurrahman Mama from Empowerment Center for Peace Building. In fact, that was the same issue that I also wanted to tackle on the agribusiness sector. When you look at Northern Ghana, for instance, we can be the hub of where Ghana itself can get its source of food. Said that we around here can farm so much that we can use it to feed the whole country. Somewhere in Nigeria, they don't import in rice. They take in their local rice. But if you look at the amount that we are spending in importing foreign rice into the country, it's even so much as to how much we even take in our local rice, which is more beneficial to our health. And other thing is that there are no industries around here. The last time I could check, there was a tomato factory around Boku, where within 1 week or some few weeks sector, the factory was down, where people farmed a lot of tomatoes. They took loans, went into the farm, and they found a lot of tomatoes, give it out to the factory. And could you believe that there wasn't any canning process for it after they turned it into the paste? So it was just there, they left it to rot. So if they can revamp these particular industries, so that the youth, if they themselves will be motivated. I can bet you that if you ask, almost all of us sitting down here are eager to also venture into farming. But the question is, when you are into it, where are you getting the support from? Is it loan? How are you accessing that particular loan? When you do that particular thing, or when you get into the farming, where are you selling your goods to? Or who are you selling them to? So thank you very much, my brother, and thank you too.
So I guess from here, we are going to have a group of young people who are venturing into that, and then they will be bombarding us with support requests, right? Oh, no? No, I mean, in relation to the initial conversation, I'm just saying in my youthful mind that after we moved from here, I came from Accra, right? I'm saying that after here, I will be seeing a group of young people from this forum who are going to venture and demand accountability in that area because you are thinking that that area is a green spot for the northern region. Is that what I heard? Okay. I mean, I'll follow up. I mean, if you know, I don't know, I've not met any familiar faces here, but if you know me, I'll follow up. Yeah, I'll follow up. Because then what's the point in coming and going to tell government that young people from this forum said they need access road to be able to do the agribusiness? And then if you people are not showing the interest, it will mean we just came, when we got to the airport, we just spoke to some cleaners there and we went back to Accra. There is a need for us to show that indeed this is the inspiration, this is the commitment. Yes. No, no, we need to go beyond the rhetorics, the things that you say that people see NGOs, CSOs, and they say that they are coming to use us for money, so let's also use them for money. We are not the type. This partnership, we are not the type of NGOs, right? We are not here to tell you that go and demand this. You are telling us that you think this particular sport is something you want to tap as your way of making sure you hold government accountable, right? Right? Yes. I'm sorry, I can't speak any of the local dialect. I would have said that, yeah, so that's what you are saying, right? Right? That's what you are saying. Okay, we're on the same space. Please, don't tempt us. We are fasting. That's a full one. But on a more serious note, I mostly, when I engage young people like this, one of the takeaways for me as a person, even before it gets to my deliverables, is how there's something out of it. So it's not just about coming here to talk. I woke up at 3:30. I needed to cook, and then I got to the. So it's not just about coming to Tamale. So it has to be something that is worth it, please. So if you are saying that from here, apart from the report CDD is gathering, you want to have something out of this, this would be a great output for us. So yes, then next round, and I'll come back to this appeal. So any other, so I saw one. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Please go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Ehsan Mohammed from the Empowerment Center for Peace Building. So since we are all talking about the agribusiness, the question here says that, in what ways do you think the government can make agribusiness more attractive to young people? So it seems the gentleman here has spoken my mind, but I just want to add a little. I've had passion for the agricultural sector for a while, but the thing is, I don't know the avenue or platform. So I think if there are more capacity building training on more innovative ways, we can, like the, what's it called? Agriculture technology. There are more innovative ways. So the thing is, the issue here is the platform. So we have the ideas, we have the passion for it, but there are no platforms for us to learn from. So if there are more platforms of search provided for us to learn from, it would help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are keeping this, and I've been prompted that we need to have the other sectors presentation. Then we can have a holistic recommendation and conversations around your better alternatives. So please keep your numbers, and then we have the next presentation and we continue, please.
Please, let's give it up to Ms. Joyce from Youth Bridge Foundation. You can do it better. In case you need water, we have water available. If you are not fasting and you need water, we have enough water available to keep you hydrated. Okay, so there are bottled water around. If you need any, you can prompt myself. We will help you out. They are just outside. Thank you very much. We are moving to the next session. Can you be on your feet? Yeah, I think let's stretch small. Okay? So stretch. Move on. We shall have our next presentation, and the person to take us through the presentation is someone you have seen in the media. He has been in the forefront of youth advocacy in this country. And in recent years, when it comes to youth protest and calling government and ensuring that government remain accountable to the people, he has been chief among those initiatives. He is none other person than lawyer Mausi Oliver Barker Vamawo. You know, Fix the Country. The Fix the Country initiative and the Democracy Hub. So he will take us through youth participation in governance.
Cho boy. Cho boy. I want us to have a very interesting conversation, but I also want to make it very, very practical. Okay? So I first want to sample the room. How many of us have seen or held, how many of us have held the Constitution before? Held a copy of the Constitution before? Okay, let's see those who have never held the Constitution before. I want to see your hands up, please. If you have never held the Constitution before. How many of you have been in any class or session where the Constitution has been explained to you before? No, I want to see your hands up. So you. So lecture room. So just a couple of you. Okay. How many of you know what the independent constitutional bodies are? Have you heard of that before? So you know what the independent constitutional bodies are? You also do. That's two. Okay. Who knows the Electoral Commission? Yeah, everybody knows the Electoral Commission. You know Jim Henson. Okay. So let me break it down. Do you know that the Electoral Commission is independent? You know that, right? You know that the Electoral Commission is established by the Constitution. Or at least you assume. So it is an independent body established under the Constitution. So we call it an independent constitutional body. We get it? Okay, let's think of another example. Have you heard of Shraj? Okay, you have heard Shraj. So Shraj is another example of that. What about the NCC? You have heard NCC. Do you have any of the NCC clubs here? You do. You participate in that. He's the president of the NCC club. Okay. Are you aware of anything being done in terms of reviewing Ghana's constitution? Has any of you heard it? Pardon? You are aware of that? Okay. You're also aware of that? Okay. Now, the big conversation that is ongoing now is about reviewing that constitution. Okay? Not too long ago, I was here in Tamale, I was living here in Tamale, and we organized one of the biggest demonstrations here with the theme Zali Pumpon. Made a new constitution now. But how do we as young people participate in the conversation around the constitution review if we have never held the constitution before? Okay? How do we participate in that conversation if we don't know the contents of the constitution? Is it possible to be able to have an idea or ideas about constitution review even if you haven't held it before? Do you think? You said no. But no, you can. You can. Okay? Because the basic idea of a constitution is not just the document. It's also your expectations of this country. Do you understand what I'm saying? So your expectations of this country can be valid ideas for people who are looking at the document to wonder whether what you are talking about is already reflected in the Constitution. But for you to be able to even speak to that, we need to be able to understand, but why must it be in the Constitution? Am I making sense? So let's take an example. Okay? Let's say that one of the things that you have experienced before is that you have gone to the hospital or a relative has gone to the hospital and was not able to pay for hospital bill. And so medical services were denied them and they died. Okay? Would you feel that if we had a free healthcare system, that relative would not die? You'd feel that? Okay. So that's an idea to suggest that the country must guarantee that not only the rich people are able to pay for their own health care, but those who can't afford it as well. Is that a fair idea? So I want you not to feel that in the conversations that we want to have around constitutional reform, that you must see the document first, or that you must have read it, or that you must be a lawyer to feel that your feelings about how this country can become better, how it can respond better to us as citizens, for you to have an idea or to share an opinion about it. Is this clear? So this is the kind of conversation that I want us to have around some of the issues here. Okay. Has anybody here been arrested before? Oh, what are you waiting for? Where's the hand where? Oh, of course. Of course. Let me do a quick presentation. Introduction. A number of does anybody here know him? Who knows him? You know him. How do you know him? Perhaps you can talk. When the traffic is not working at a Greek traffic, you know him to be directing the You've heard him on the news, on TV3. Okay. So, yes. Oh. So, Wakil is one of the young activists that we have worked with here in Tamale to help organize the protests around the new constitution for a new generation. And one of the things that we do is that the purpose of a protest, a lot of times the conversation stays on the protest. But the purpose of a protest and why we go into a community is to be able to create some community of younger activists who become interested about societal issues. So when he's directing traffic there, it is not that he wants one traffic light situation. He's been advocating on issues around the street lights in Tamale, and the traffic situation in Tamale. That he has had meetings on that. So I want the conversation that we are going to reflect on is first that let's talk about what we want the country to be, but also reflect on what we want to do and what steps we think we can do to support those initiatives. Does that help? Okay. Now, are there any of some of the ideas that have come up from previous engagements around? Yes. Sure.
Not because I'm a thief. So maybe people will see me outside, like. No, let him continue.
But, no, you can speak. You can speak into the mic. Yes.
I've been arrested because of the traffic lights, not because I'm a thief.
No, tell us why you were arrested. We want.
There was a day Akufo-Addo when he was a president in this country. He's coming to Townhall, so he's from town coming to 10 at the traffic lights towards Chogu roundabout. So that time the traffic lights was not working. So away from Chogu to the agri traffic lights, it was having an amber. So when those who are coming from Chogu towards to Nyanshegu, when it is the amber, they will just coming speed, thinking that it is on for them to go. Yeah. So when Akufo-Addo was coming, there was a police officer standing at the traffic lights, controlling the traffic lights for Akufo-Addo to pass. So he didn't knew that the traffic lights was amber. So I saw it, I told him, he refused. So I didn't know inside his mind or what he was thinking. So he insulted me. I also insulted him back. So not knowing that when Akufo-Addo was coming, there was a security around there. So when I insult, so they heard it. So when I just turned to run, so
Thank you, Wakil. Now, I want this. Now, I've set the stage then for what are some of the issues that you think, in terms of the social issues that we are facing, that you think that any initiative, one, to review the Constitution, must look at as we are dealing and thinking about. Any volunteers? Okay.
So, all right. Taido Abdulkarim is my name. I've heard respected lawyers say that the fundamental principle of the rule of law is equality before the law. However, in our parts of the world, it looks as if the law works in favor of some people against others. So I believe that if there should be a constitutional review, every individual in this country as a Ghanaian should fall under the rule of law without anybody or without the constitution working in favor of some people and against some people.
So this is a very important point, and I want us to engage on this, think through it together. So let's say it is written down. Would it solve the problem if it is written that everybody is equal under the law? You don't think? Can you tell us why it's said?
It is written that it's just a document. If you don't put policies to back it or kind of put sanctions to it, it's just a document. It's just like a piece of paper lying down. It wouldn't work. So you have to back it with some sanctions.
So let's say we write the sanctions by it. Any person who doesn't treat people equally, 5 years. Would it solve the problem? Hey, no. Why?
There's no implementation of the law.
So that the people on radio can hear you. Introduce yourself.
Mustafa Hajara is my name. And it's no because if there's no implementation of the law, it wouldn't work. Even with the sensation, as she said.
Okay. So let's take the constitution conversation we are having about. So you have written it down. We have prescribed a sanction. She says that if we don't implement it, it won't work. Okay? So what if I told you that this is already written down and sanctioned? Is it being implemented? And if it is not, why? What do you think are some of the challenges to implementation?
I am of a solemn conviction that it is not implemented because those who should ensure that this constitution is implemented are those acting contrary to it. And no man will enforce a law that is at its detriment to himself. So they find a way or they manipulate the constitution. I mean, those who are supposed to ensure that the constitution is implemented, they manipulate it to favor themselves. But when it's an ordinary Ghanaian, we go by the rule. But when it's the bourgeoisie, we find something else.
So I'll ask two more questions here. I'll come to you on the same point. Do you want? Okay, you add what to it before I come in.
Thank you very much. My name is Ali Mohammed Abdullah, a representative of FUYAC. And I would like to add up to what my brother rightly said. Sometimes we are not able to enforce the law because ignorance is killing all of us. That's the major disease. And none of us here, if I may to say, none of us is made to know what the laws are. Nobody knows the law. We only give it out to the legislature to do what they are supposed to do. But if each and every one of us here are being informed this is the law and this is how you can fight for it, definitely we can implement those things. Thank you.
So there are 2 points. Okay, yeah, let me take you first.
Thank you. Please, just to add something small to his. He's saying that most people do not know the law. But mind you, there are instances people know what the law says, but then the right channel of communication, they don't know. Maybe there's an incident of raping in your vicinity. Who to reach out to really work on it immediately, you may not get, and it will slide, and it will continue to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me take these points, okay? How many times have we? Yes. You want to add up? Okay.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. Just like what my sister rightly said, I had the chance to go to Tamale prison for a visit, and the in charge said some of these prisoners here are innocent, but just because they didn't know how to talk. You might not be ignorant, but the tone you use to talk will actually put you in jail or in prison. So that is also another point I'm just adding up. How we talk is another point, and it's very, very important that we should, as young people, we should take that one into consideration anytime we are given the chance to talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'll talk a little bit about all of these things, and we'll tie into the bigger governance question. How many times, I want to see by hands now, how many people have heard it being said that in Ghana we have all the laws, but nobody's implementing them? Okay? So we hear this constantly. So perhaps the biggest governance problem we have is questions of implementing what we have. And I'll show you why. So she talked about, or you talked about, ignorance of this. What if I say that the Constitution has created an institution whose job is to cure that ignorance for you, which has been operating for over 30 years? Okay? So then we'll go there into, but why is that institution not reaching you? And the institution will also tell us that we don't get the money, the funding we need to be able to do that work, or other issues. So if the biggest contribution from here that we can think about as young people in terms of how we engage this conversation, how do we solve the implementation problem? Because even the Constitution is reviewed, like you said, written down, sanctions added. We know it. How do we ensure the implementation? Now, I'll give another example. You said that no man would implement a law to his own detriment. Are there countries where the rule of law, as you describe it, work? Yes. Are there men there? So some societies have figured it out. They are not using robots. So how have they figured it out? And what do we need to do to figure it out? Any ideas? Okay.
So point is a rhetorical question. And my question is, what do we do to those who are supposed to enforce the law, not the lay people, those who are supposed to enforce the law? What do we do to them when they themselves goes against the law? Yes, because I think that is the first point of implementation. If you are supposed to implement the law and you are the first person to obstruct the law, what do you expect the lay person to do?
So what is the fail-safe mechanism that we can think about, whether the Constitution itself or what the Constitution can provide for other laws, that where the persons who are supposed to implement it do not implement it, what happens?
Well, I think we need a system restructure. Yeah. So when we have a restructuring of the system, we put measures into place to take care of all these things. Thank you.
So we are restructuring the system. What are the components of that restructuring? What should we have in there? So we have identified the first thing, that implicit in his rhetorical question is that somebody has the responsibility to do it. But the person who has the responsibility is not doing it. Now what? Are we stuck as a society, or what can be done to ensure the one who is supposed to do it does the work? The mic should get to you, because I want those who are home to hear us.
All right. Maybe the Constitution itself hasn't made provisions for that particular session.
Yeah.
Let's say people who are supposed to do the enforcement and the implementation when they fails.
Yeah.
What is supposed to be done about that?
Yes.
So meaning the whole Constitution itself has to be revised. Yeah. In that case, we are done tackling with the basics, then we'll continue with the secondary or the other ones. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have identified the problem, that Constitution, and I agree, has no mechanism for when persons who have been given responsibility, or it has limited mechanism, I'll talk about that, for when persons who have been given responsibility to do something fail to do it. One of the mechanisms it has is going to court. Okay? Now, are there problems with that being, if that was the only mechanism, are there problems with that? There are? Maybe if you say yes, you tell me why.
I say yes because, okay, first of all, my name is Salasan Hamida Damba, and I say yes because going to the court, sometimes I believe what I believe as a teenager or as a person is that going to court most of the times it talks about money, your power. It doesn't favor the law that works in the court. It just deals about what you have, and that's what it will be judged by you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
I'm in the person of Masoud Nibrasar. Please, in case the person who is supposed to amend the law or punish the person who go by or who decide not to respect the law. Now, I don't have any power. I'm just a normal person. And now the person needs to bring up the law. How do I take the person to court if I'm no one? You understand? I'm in no position as just a community member. Meanwhile, the person is a politician or the person is a great worker, but he's supposed to put up the rules and regulations, but the person decides not to do so. And now I see that this is wrong. How do I correct or how do I punish the person? Now, when I take it to the police station, nobody will mind me. You understand? Just because the statute I am. As an ordinary person, I can't report those who are supposed to make the rules and regulations to the authorities.
So we know that the Constitution doesn't use the words bourgeoisie or ordinary persons. It says we are all equal before the law. Yeah. So in certain categories, we are not equal. Okay. So now, what is the solution? How do we solve that problem? The problem of implementation. Yes, please. Joyce.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I've lost my voice.
No worries.
But I think you can hear me. Before I start, I would like to touch on what my sister said. There's a saying that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And if you don't know that there's free legal services being offered to citizens who are, let me put it, less privileged, there's something like that, even though things don't work like we want it to work. I will talk on the movement that you formed last year, or is it last 2 years or so, of which I was also part of it, changing of the constitution. I don't know whether now that there's change of government, you take up that mantle again. If indeed you are taking it, when? And if you are not, why? We should take it right.
The question, the statement you made about ignorance of the law, do you believe in it? That ignorance of the law is no excuse? To what extent? 95. So if yes, today Parliament passes a law, right, that is assented by the President, becomes law, and then tomorrow you are doing something and somebody comes, arrest you, and they say that, oh, a law was passed, you have violated the law. Do you still believe? You say, I think I'm at fault because even though I'm ignorant, the statement is that ignorance of the law is no excuse. So take me. You won't accept it. So right to you do application, right to information.
No, but you are being prosecuted.
Exactly. At that time, at that time, you can't now go and say you are applying for. No, but I think the point that the reason why I raised this is the same point about that we are talking about how we want to see our society work. So there's nothing special to it. Do you believe, if sometimes we take these things for granted, we make a statement and say, but is it fair that a law is passed, you don't know anything about it, and then you will be arrested or you will be punished because you have violated a law that you are not aware of? So these are very, very serious matters, and citizens have to begin to be alive. What exactly do we want to see in our society? How do we make sure that what we are putting in there is actually implemented? Oliver, your question about implementation, the other question is that should we give the power of implementation to the same people who are violating the law? So if the person who violated the law is the same person that we are expecting to implement the law, what should we do? Should we be giving the power to giving somebody else to be the one that punishes the person who violated the law?
Are you understanding the question? Because the problem a lot of you have identified is that the same people who are supposed to implement the law are the ones who are violating the law. Okay. In that scenario, let's take the police for instance. If the police does something against you, you are supposed to report to the police for the police to prosecute the police, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. This is what I want you to be reflecting on. That she talked about restructuring. We shouldn't accept things as they are because they are the way they are. And that was a question about the ignorance of the law issue. But this is what it said. This is what it has. But we know that it's producing injustice. So shouldn't we be bold to think about a different mechanism? And that's the kind of conversations I want us to think about in terms of the problems we are identifying and reflecting on solutions. Because we know that the old methods are not working. So can we be bold in our thinking about what if a different method works?
So we can demand accountability through social media. So right now, social media, I would say, is something that goes globally. So if you report and you are not seeing anything, you can go on social media. You can storm. You can have what's it called? X storms. You gather yourselves, like-minded individuals. You come together. You protest. You go on social media to campaign against whatever injustice you are going through. And I think it will go a very long way. Thank you.
Now, I'll come to you. I believe in the power of protest. Now, but when you have protested, it is expecting that the same person does it. Right? So I want to push you again on this issue. I'll give you a very simple example as well. So we used to have this in our law. It was then removed. When you look at police reports made to the police, and what is prosecuted, you'd see that the overwhelming cases of sexual abuse against women do not get prosecuted. So there's between reporting and prosecution, if you gather the statistics, you realize that there's certain types of complaints that gets the least percentage in terms of prosecution. Okay? So in South Africa, for instance, they have what they call the private prosecution. Is it possible that if we had private prosecution, that NGOs can form and have lawyers trained who take up cases and prosecute it when the police fail to? So in this case, you think it's a fail-safe mechanism. Do you understand? That if the regular institution is not working, then you create another arrangement. If this is not working, you create another arrangement. That these are the types of things I want us to think about generally. Helpful. Okay, ideas. Let's think. By the time you are done, I want you to be so tired that at this point you're only waiting to break the fast.
Okay, so my name is Jennifer Nongomio Tembile from Activista. So what I want to add is that oftentimes we fail to know what is even happening. And so a few days ago, a friend of mine, we're talking, he works with Siraj. I really didn't know some of the things when it comes to child care. So many times women think that it's all about suffering to take care of the child. And tomorrow she's like, that's my child, I took care of the child, so I won't give out the child. But then women don't even know that there's a law that can favor the man, depending on some of the things that happen. And so, from there I got to learn that, so meaning that there's even a law that also doesn't really favor the woman, or maybe the man, but depending on whoever is actually taking care of the child. And so looking at the Constitution too, most of us here, we do a lot of social media, we do a lot of advocacies, but then we don't even know what to say in the Constitution. And I believe that once you know something, you're able to fight for it much better. The current system, it seems, is now working in a way. That's because people actually hold others accountable for whatever is supposed to be held for. And so I think that from our little groups or from our groups as we sit here, if we can start the sensitizations, we can start the education around the Constitution. Once we know what it is, we can hold people accountable. And I believe that's actually one step, and that might help too.
So there's that idea again. Knowledge of the document and knowledge of our laws. That keeps coming up. Right? Now, if the NCCE, which is supposed to do this, says that one of the reasons and challenges to doing this kind of work is that our source of funding is not guaranteed to be able to do this work. So then we must fix that. Yes, please.
So here, not to the NCCE, because NCCE will always tell us they don't have money. But then I'm looking at how the groups here can also play a role. So in our individual groups, if you can all know what is in the Constitution, I'm sure during the sensitizations or some of the activities within the community, we can also send some of those information out. And then it helps, because we all play a role.
Now, there's another question that was raised that joins this question, the conversation between on the ignorance of the law issue, where it suggested that he was alluding to the legal aid, where for poor people who don't have money, you can go somewhere. But then if I tell you that legal aid has less than 40 lawyers across the whole country. Yeah. Yes, please.
Why are you not speaking Dagbanle? Because are we still on the radio or not? Because most of our parents are on the radio. Who or she do not understand Dagbanle? Or, sorry, English. So if you speak Dagbanle, so that they also understand some. So try and speak Dagbanle.
Nyulimbon Oliver. Kanyana Ankara. No, but it's a fair point. It's also about a question of reach. And it's a question of this issue where much of our experiences and lives around us, in terms of the institutions, are constructed in English. And so there's a vast majority of a society, segment of a society, that do not have access to the medium around which we do so many things. Take our laws, for example, an example that was given. How fair is it that laws that is written in Accra, let's say even advertised across the country in English, and then somebody who can't speak English, you say, but ignorance of the law is no excuse. Is that fair as a society? Okay? So is there a mechanism that we say that, okay, the state has a responsibility to ensure that this law, once passed, beyond just putting it in a gazette, you must do this sensitization and do education on it. Particularly if it is a law that creates a crime, you must educate people and show this number of months and effort before people then become charged under that kind of crime. That's an idea that can become a part of a constitution. Do you see? Now, what about the question of the example that he gave? Now, he made a fantastic example, but he misunderstood, I think, what the prison warden was saying. That so many people who are here is because they didn't know how to talk that they are here. It's not about whether or not you are talking respectfully. Many people do not understand the criminal process because you don't have a right for the state to provide you a lawyer when you can't procure a lawyer for your own. Okay? So once you are charged with an offense, if, for instance, in some societies, it's automatic. Everybody must be guaranteed a right to legal counsel. We don't have that automatic right. You are supposed to go to the legal aid. They say they are going to do a means test to determine whether or not you are poor enough. And their poverty enough, I think it's about 3 CD a day or something. I have never in my legal profession charged anybody 3 CD. So, what if the way to cure that problem, and it's true, there's so many innocent people in our jail cells, people who are on remand for years because they have no access to a lawyer. So what if it's the state's responsibility to ensure anybody charged with a criminal offense must be provided a lawyer? If they can afford a lawyer, they can go and take their lawyer. But the question doesn't even arise for us. You have a right to a lawyer. Is this an idea we can express in the Constitution? Okay. What else? I think our time is coming to an end. So I'll take 3 recommendations rather than questions. Certainly not your rhetorical question. Okay.
Thank you. Please, I think through posters too, it will make impact. Posters? Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes,
All right, thank you very much. So what I'm going to recommend is that I think the Constitution, me personally, I don't know the people who came together and initiated the Constitution. And so for that matter, the Constitution needs to be amended. And in amending the Constitution, we have to include the vulnerable, the excluded, marginalized, so that when any decision is taken, we don't, leave them out. So what I also want to say again is that maybe I know that if I include this in the Constitution, it will favor me. So for that matter, I don't go and sit alone to make sure that my decision is being taken.
Yeah.
So that is why I said we should include everyone. And as we all know, one of the SDG goals is all inclusion. We should leave no one behind. So it's a suggestion I'm making. Thank you.
Thank you. I want one person who hasn't spoken before I come to you. You haven't spoken at all. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I respond to the name Mohammed Abdul Wali from Bagaba College of Education. And so listening to the conversation, one thing I want to recommend is our executive power. We have given too much power to the executive arm of government. That is one key thing that is resulting to all these things. And the next thing through your submission is the financing. And so there should be a structure where the revenue mobilization or the revenue that has been mobilized, there's always a percentage. Let's say at least every year 2% of the mobilized revenue should be given to NCC rather than the executive sitting down to determine what should be given to this body and that of this body. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before I come to you, I want to give an opportunity. I want a suggestion that you feel is either Tamale specific, Northern region specific, that you think you want to make in terms of any review of law or constitution. What do you think that some problem that is peculiar to this region? Region can be the particular region or the savannah area. What do you think are some of the peculiar problems that is not attended to nationally that the constitution review should speak to? Oh, you have an idea there.
Okay, Tamale. And then the problem is prostitution.
Okay.
When you look at the national level, it seems it is silent on it. Okay. They are not talking about prostitution. And day in, day out, we hear nudity and other stuff in Tamale. So I think those at the top should look at it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. A peculiar recommendation I'll have from Tamale is that, like my brother mentioned, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So literacy of the law should become a necessity. So the leaders during their constitutional review, they should add to it that since ignorance of the law is not an excuse, they have a mandate to ensure that everybody becomes literate of the Constitution regardless of where they live and what language they speak.
You have spoken, so let me give it to him first. I think we are time. The time is going. I'm stealing more time than I've been.
Thank you very much. My name is Musa Ahmad once again. I think what they should also consider, if they are to do any review of the Constitution, they should look at how they define a Ghanaian. Who is a Ghanaian? I'm speaking from the Fulani community, and you all know what is happening. So they should consider looking at how they define a Ghanaian. Then what I also want to add is the way we are facing difficulties in enforcing the law. I think at this point, as people in Ghana here, we have to look at the way we educate our children. If we start from there, I want to talk about the honesty. If we are honest, and if we put that culture in everybody or all the young Ghanaians, I think all these problems we face in enforcing the law will reduce. I'm saying this because I'm a teacher, and I see the way children today are able to forge lies and then just to save or to favor themselves. Children, small children, they are able to copy the kind of lies big people are saying. And it's displayed on the television every day, and they are also saying they are learning from it. I think we have to look at that side, the honesty side. We have to consider it.
We have to wrap up. Sorry. Unfortunately, I think that what you are suggesting is that we have to eliminate the big people's lies so that the children copy for it. Let me just end on this note, on the question you had asked about what constitution review. Yes, we haven't stopped. In fact, even before the president appointed a committee, we organized an event called the Case for a New Constitution. Kojo was there as one of the speakers there as well, where we stated the case for a new constitution. So it's an advocacy we are continuing and continue to hope to influence the work of the committee in that regard. Thank you, and I really enjoyed this session.
I think you can do it better for him. And then that would be led by Dr. Kojo Asante, the Director for Policy Engagement and Partnerships at CDD-Ghana. Let's welcome you with a clap offering.
All right. This is not going to be a long conversation, but there are two your perspectives on. One is local government reform, and also the cost of politics, the monetization of our politics. So those are the two things. But before I get to that, I want you to tell me one law that you know that is enforced. You know that everybody respects it. One law in this Ghana here that you know that as for that one, everybody enforces it. Okay, I think you, all right, and then I saw a hand to him.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think what I know is freedom of speech.
Okay.
Yes, we talk by heart. Yes.
So if somebody tries to stop you from talking, what will happen?
No, the issue is not just stopping, but then because we have that privilege to speak, there are things we are not supposed to say as citizens, or sometimes...
I understand that. What I'm saying is that, because the reason I'm asking is, I said there's one, so you're talking about the right of free speech, yes, right? And you said, as for that one, we enforce it. And I'm saying, if somebody violated your right to free speech, how would that be enforced? If right now you went to say something on social media, and then they came to arrest you, do you believe that people will be out there, the police will make sure that no, your right to free speech is protected?
I don't think they will even show consent.
So that's not a good example. Yes. So I want one law that you believe, you have observed. You live in the community. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I am in the person of Ali Mohammed Abdullah. For me, the law that works in Ghana here is the law of demarcation in terms of toilet and bathroom. That one, everybody respects it.
Toilet and bathroom.
Yes, when they put a picture of a male and a female, that is.
So if no, but that's a good example. No, say them, Mohammed. So if somebody sees that you are a man going to what will happen?
Definitely, in a society where I live,
yeah,
nobody even tells the man to go to
but if somebody attempts to violate
the person will never, because I've never seen such.
No, you just take it. What would you do if you saw somebody?
Okay, what they will do is they will just tell the person that you were not supposed to go there. That is not your...
Would they even try and prevent?
To an extent, probably prevent.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, any other example? One more example. Anything that you think? Yes.
So, another law that actually works is the electoral law. That's if someone qualifies to vote. I've never seen an instance where someone is qualified to vote and they say, "Oh no, you are not supposed to vote." Because
sometimes there's contestation around.
Yeah, because there's other maybe opposition that will actually contest or fight for the law. So it's actually.
But most of the time it's enforced.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like, why is it that in that case, society would do everything to protect that? Why? Yeah, whether the toilet or the right to vote and all of that. Yes.
My name is Musa Mabruki Beninya. I think society respects that law because of their personal interests.
Okay.
If you sit at home and then you don't go and vote, and your opponents, they come out more to vote and they win the election, you might be voting because of your own personal interest. And if your opponent wins, you won't get what you want.
So we are kind of protecting our own interests. That's why we are doing. So extend that logic to the problem that Oliver put on the table. That all these laws that don't work, does it come fundamentally to the fact that collectively we are not able to protect? So like if, for example, the big person who has power, who has laws that says, no, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. Because when they do it, they can get away with it. They are not interested in enforcing the law. If we had a shared belief in protecting that law, we would all enforce it. So how would we get the shared belief? And if we don't have the shared belief, how do we make sure that those people who have power and who violate the law are not the same people who have to enforce it? Right? Should we give the power to somebody else? Some people have said, for example, if when we talk about the issue with electoral commission, it says, okay, because the president is appointing the electoral commissioner and commissioners, that's where the problem is. So maybe give the job to somebody else to do the appointment. Maybe when you do the appointment, and because the president and his party don't have an interest in elections, then, of course, they don't have to be beholden to him. If it's some outside body that appoints the person, then maybe, then they will do the right things. So it's just, I don't want us to go back to the conversation, but it's a big problem for our governance. How do we design a system that would give you the right motivations to do your job when they say go and do your job, and not think about your personal interests? Right? And that's really the challenge for us. So we haven't ended on this conversation yet. It's something that will keep coming back. But I want to take you to local government. Everybody has they live in a district. All right? What do you think are the problems in the district? Or you think that the districts are working? Are our districts working? Why? What do you expect from your district assembly? What's the nearest district here? Where? Hey, Sanregu, okay. District, right? Municipal, okay. What do we expect from that district? What should they do for us? When I was coming, I saw there were places where there was a lot of rubbish, on the side road. I'm asking, whose job is it to sweep these things, right? So what do you expect from the local government? Yeah, let me take the gentleman here. Anybody here? Okay, I'll come and take you. Yes. Yeah.
I expect them to be accountable and then to be doing monitoring and evaluation of their work.
What kind of things do you want them to monitor?
The works.
Okay.
Some of the works that
like
are
capital projects that they are doing, like roads.
Yeah. Like when you go to Western region or Western North, there's one particular district there. When you get there, in front of it, the projects they are embarking on, those that they have embarked on already, are on it with the cost involved.
Okay.
So they are being accountable to the people.
So they've given you information.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that you won't be suspecting them of any other stuff.
Okay. Now, one of the things that have been discussed in the last, I would say, the last 15 years or last 20 years, is that we appoint our mayors. We don't elect them. What do you think about it? People say, no, we should appoint our mayors, which is DCs. That we should elect our DCs, not appoint them. What do you think about them? That particular issue.
Thank you so much. My name is Suleiman Alassan, and to me, I believe we electing them is the best way. For instance, if you are to consider the appointment, the government is not living with the people, and probably he might not be aware of the problem that they are facing. And some of these people that they are appointing, they are not best fit in that portfolio, because some of them, like, they will just come from nowhere, and then they will appoint them, and because of that, they may not be willing to work effectively for the people. So when it is about election, the people will now look at those that they think they can work for them and then elect them. And in this case, like, those elected representatives can work effectively for them. Thank you.
And you know, the other thing is that the overwhelming belief, because this comes from Afrobarometer surveys that have been done, is that people don't want parties to be involved in electing MMDCs. Also, what do people think about that? So I think the last survey that was at 71% of people said they don't want parties to be involved. Remember 2019 when the issue came up? Because of that, the amendment bill was withdrawn because there was a difference between MPP and NDC as to whether parties should be involved or they shouldn't. And we went round in almost all the regions, and everybody said they don't want parties to involve. Is that a position that people still take, or they've changed their mind? Yes.
My name is Ruhaima. I'm from Activista. So I think that people should vote without party colors for their mayors, because it's cancel out it cancels out the favoritism and the polarism that is already involved in the general elections. So people vote for who can actually work, not who wears the same party colors as themselves. They vote for who qualifies. And it reduces the monetization that would have come with it. So for instance, if a party is in power, it's more likely that their mayor candidates will win because they will use government money to fund campaign and other activities. So if it comes without the party colors, it will be more monetization free. Yes, thank you.
Let me press you a little bit. So currently we know that they say the party should not be involved in assembly elections, but we know that they have primaries behind closed doors. Do you think that even if we say they shouldn't participate, they'll go and have their secret meeting and decide who they will support, and then try to campaign using their party structures to support? How would we deal with that?
That will put accountability into the hands of the people, that whoever comes from within your community to contest is somebody you are living with, somebody you know his or her political background. So if the person comes forth and you can see that this is somebody that is party-centered, this is somebody that is pushing a party agenda, at that point, you have the power to vote the person or not vote the person. So that puts accountability in the hands of the people.
Okay, I'll take maybe one more view on this. Yeah, let me take. You also have. Don't worry, I have more questions on local government, so I'll put it to you. Here first, and then.
So I really don't support the elections because...
You don't support the elections?
Yes.
You want appointment?
Yes.
Okay.
Because in a way that if a government is in power, and I'm sure in some of the districts, there will be like partisan people contesting. And some of the opposition parties may manage to win. And if once they win, they are going to be denied the resources to be able to develop because of political and some kind of favoritism. Yeah, so for me, I don't think electing them is going to be the best. Is the appointment is okay, even though we are facing many challenges.
Okay.
But when he appoints whoever he wants, his government is in power, and he's going to be able to support them in any way. But if you just make it okay, let's elect them, and these are the same NDC MPP who come and contest, and we are going to vote for them. And when the opposition wins, what happens? Just like our members of parliament, if you are not part of the governing party, you are going to suffer. Even your common fund is not coming. They will intentionally delay it for you to kind of lose the election in the incoming elections.
Yeah.
So I think that let's continue with the appointment. If we are going to elect them, it's going to bring more and more difficulties.
So we should continue to suffer because you think it will be worse if we elect.
It will be worse if we elect them.
So in Kenya, they have 47 counties. So it's like a two-tier system. We don't have regional, whatever. And it's parties that contest. Some are opposition, some are whatever, independents, and they win. But the rules are very clear how much money is supposed to go to whichever district. So it is not up to one person. And remember that person who is campaigning to be president, he also wants votes from every region. So it's not in his interest to deny development in those districts, right? And those governors can go to court to make sure that their monies that are delayed, they receive it. In Sierra Leone, the mayor of Freetown is an opposition leader. In Liberia, so it's only Ghana that use this system, and yet there's not any problem in any of those places where, in terms of where development goes, because the government that is in power also need votes from every place. So the argument that, Ashanti region, MPP will win, and because MPP will win, and they will have mayors who are from MPP, they will not get development. But if you don't take development to Ashanti, Ashanti's vote is almost like, close to 30% or 20% of total. How would you get the votes from there? So I'm trying to raise the point that this fear that is created that somehow, if the people are given the opportunity to elect their mayors, there will be more division, and therefore we'll have more problems. Just saying, in many African countries, with the same competition, have been practicing local government for many, many years, and there's not been that problem. Yeah. So what would be your response to that one?
So, like, we live in a country where our laws are not respected by our leaders.
But in Sierra Leone too, they don't respect laws.
Yeah, but in the context of Ghana, let's come to Ghana. We have heard.
Why is Ghana so unique?
We have heard in the past how members of parliament of opposition party complain about common fund, and it is categorically in the constitution that they are they should be given to they should be given to them.
Yeah.
But they are not given to them. Yeah. So like it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same
you
thing.
You believe so?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I promise you yes. So my question to you is that one of the things that have been suggested is that you have 261 districts, right? If you say you are going to elect everyone, you want to have a mayor in every district, you have 261 mayors. Now, if you take a place like Accra, where you have about 33 districts, you will have 33 mayors. One in Adenta, one in Medina, one in Oyarifa, one in Achimota, one in Roman Ridge. These are very small, even here, I'm sure you do the same thing. Those demarcations were made because of politics, because people wanted to get more MPs in those areas. If we follow that route, it will mean that if you go to Accra, there will be just chaos. Even when the street light breaks down, you will not even be able to find who is responsible for that place. So some people are saying that we should look at maybe doing the election for the big cities first. And then in some of the cities, we need to merge the areas so that we can get effective administration. Otherwise, as my brother is saying, sometimes in your effort to reform, you might actually create more problems than solve the question. So the question to you is, what's your view on that?
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
And I think those who are making that, proposals, they also have a point. Yeah. But the way I am also looking at it is that when we begin to merge some of the district, it becomes difficult when it comes to allocation. Most of the time, what calls for division of the district or maybe creating new districts is because of what? Resource allocation. When we are having like Nantong and Savlogo, when they were then together, you could have seen by then more developmental projects were centered at Savlogo to the detriment of Nantong. But Nantong were also part of Savlogo then. Now there was an idea to separate them so that Nantong will also have their district alone. So I am thinking that if we are going to merge them, then that means that we are going back to the same problem that we call for the district creation.
What if you have them as sub-metro? So basically, it's the same system, okay, but in order to have a better coordination, say Tamale, for instance, because you can have small units, some of them not viable economically, even in terms of property rates, that if you don't take care, you will segregate the rich part, where you can collect more property rates and have more income, and then you create a poverty part where there's nothing there for you to use to support it. So you need to mix it up so that you can use that to subsidize the areas that are poorer. But it doesn't mean that you still not zone them separately to make sure that each area gets their own. It's just that you won't call them districts, but you call them, whether it's area councils or whatever it is that you call them. But those are some of the thoughts that are going through, that if you elect, you just going, the development problem that you want to solve, you will not, because you would have solved a political problem, but the development problem will suffer.
Okay, so maybe if I get what you said right, when we merge maybe say Sanargo, Tamale, Nantong, and those things, then we have one mayor be elected.
Elected, yes.
Now we now have a sub.
Yes.
Or what we can call them a zona.
Yeah, zona, whatever. Yes.
Yeah. So I think I buy into that idea. It's something that can work for us, because if we are going to do elections across all the districts, it's going to be a financial burden again on us. At the end of the day, we will go back to the monetization that we were also talking about, the political parties. Because even the assembly election that we are doing, which is supposed to be the party basis, parties are
even council of state elections are now
monetized. So I think that suggestion, I buy into that. And it's
can I
something
get
that
one more
help
view
us.
on this? Yes, I think. Then the back there.
Okay, thank you.
You I'm calling ignorance of the law.
I think I'm also going to side with my honorable member there, the majority leader of the UDS Student Parliament.
Sure.
When he spoke about we not
election and appointments,
sending it to elections.
Yeah.
You see, it's about we changing our mindset, the status quo. If indeed a government appoints somebody to be a mayor of Tamale, for instance, if the person is not working, it is up to the people of Tamale to rise up, demonstrate massively for the government to listen to them and sack the person, put the person who work effectively to their satisfaction. Whether it is going to be party person or whoever. We are in Tamale, whereby we live and stayed with so many of the mayors in Tamale, but almost 99% of them fail woefully.
And why do you think is that? Because one of the...
Because of their attitude towards work. Some of them, they just sit there, they don't work.
But there's also a lot of studies that clearly shows that the person responds to the person who appoints them.
Yeah.
And the reason why MPs right? And this is exactly the contradiction. The reason why MPs will do everything to try to respond to the people's needs is because they have to go and face the people every 4 years.
Yeah.
And they know that they need to show evidence of what they have done.
Okay, I'm not cutting you short.
Yeah.
With the MPs, I don't even want to go there. Some of them do overpromise. You come and tell me you construct road and do this. Meanwhile, it's not the work
why?
of the MP.
Why the MP and the DC?
The DC.
Their role has been swapped.
Yes.
Because the people can't elect their DC, they go and put all the burden on the MP.
It is the MPs. Most of them, when they come to say you should vote me, they do this. Vote me, I'll construct roads. I'll give you this. I'll give you what.
Why do you think they are saying that?
Because they feel like the people were ignorant about politics. So if they, let's say, promise us big, we are going to give them the mandate, forgetting that the duty is what's the name? Taking on the mayors and then the MDCC.
Yes.
Are you getting it? So when you look at this situation, I think the MPs are their own problems. Because when you look at the district common fund, when it comes, I think 5% or 3% will go to the MP. Not all the time. Even government in power, their MPs also in power will not even get the fund on time. Let's look at it in that manner.
But the point is that if you're not even getting it, you as a DC, because you are appointed, you can't even go and complain. But if the person was elected, he knows where his bread is buttered.
That's where I'm coming.
So he will go and fight for that.
Yeah, if a person is elected, the person is liable or is maybe sabotaging the sitting government. We can look at it in that perspective too.
How is this
a government can be bringing a developmental project to, let's say, Tamale Metro.
Yeah. And if he sabotages, how is he going to get elected?
And let me continue.
No,
and then let's say the mayor
will
just sabotage the government's program.
But what I'm saying
so
is
with that, if he or she sabotage it, then the people will just kick the person.
But what I'm saying is that anybody that has to go for elections, if you sabotage a project that is coming to your community, how are you going to go to the citizens and go and say that you have done A, B, C, D, and therefore elect me? And remember that if he doesn't deliver, there are hundreds of him in the community where the community will prefer that because you are the type that will not sabotage. So the logic that somehow it will be anti-developmental in certain communities, the incentive is for you to actually work. You want to even have a better relationship with the government so that you can go and get elected.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier on in my previous submission that we should hold them accountable. Whether the person is elected.
Regardless, I think that point.
So if we hold them accountable, whether appointed or elected, the person will be accountable to the people, and they will really work hard to achieve a goal.
Let me take the lady at the back, and then I want to move on to monetization. I'm sure some of it can be mixed. The lady, I know we have had a long day, and I also concerned that people are fasting, so I don't want to kill you today. Yes. You're fasting.
My name is Bawa Rashida too.
Yeah, Bawa, please.
Thank you for this opportunity. Please, I'm coming towards this thing, appointment.
Yes.
The DCs and the MPs.
MPs,
Sorry to say this. In my village, they will appoint someone who is not educated to be their MP.
Yeah.
And they always say that the easier way to get money is to go into politics. So they have this in their mind. How can a Gawani, sorry to speak my language, can be your MP? How can this person develop your country?
How can a what? What does that mean? What can that mean? A what? A traditional singer?
Yes.
Like an entertainer?
Yes.
Oh, but you shouldn't belittle entertainers. The president of...
we don't even know whether he goes through education.
No. So that's a different point. But an entertainer, the president of Ukraine, was a comedian before he became President Reagan was acting movies before he became president. So I don't want you to denigrate our creatives and those who do entertainment. But the point you are making about is the education, which I think you make a valid point. So I just want to put that on the table. Please, the last issue I want to. You disagree that an entertainer can become. But John Demelo is a deputy agri. He was acting.
Hello.
There are many people. You're not finished. Hey, okay. Go ahead, Bob.
And please, we the villagers, we are looking for the symbol, not the one who will come and develop our country or district for us.
Okay.
You appoint someone, he or she doesn't go through education. He will just be in the house, and you appoint him. What he will do is, the money that he is receiving is his money or her money or the family money. No, like development in our community. Not even hospital in our community. Yeah. And we are voting every year. It's only the symbol that they are looking for. Not the one who will come and develop our country. Okay. We don't have even gutters in our hometown. Yeah. Not even good road. Yeah. Every 4 years they will appoint someone that they want. Or that person can just come from another village. Yeah. You don't know that whether that person has already educated or no. They will just appoint. Yeah. And I don't even know what development that they are.
So no. Hello. Hello. Are we here? We are just wrapping up. No, seriously, right? The frustration that has been emerging for most people, and particularly among young people, is that we have all this elaborate system for our politics. We have a president, we have ministers, we have MPs, we have DCs, we have in the last couple of months, hey, I'm CEO of this, hey, congratulations, this and that. What exactly, at the end of it, what does it mean to the problems that she's talking about? Gutters, so that there will be drainage, so that when it rains, it doesn't flood. Good roads, so that when you go and invest in agric and you get your tomatoes, you can travel and take it to the market. So you earn an income. All this elaborate thing that we put in place, security, so that if you are a Fulani, that you don't get discriminated. Somebody is making sure that you are not taken advantage of. That's what all of it means. So when we are thinking about all these changes, we have to ask ourselves, what is this all for? If it doesn't affect the development, then we need to look at the system that we have put in place. All right? So it comes to the monetization issue, because the calculation is simple. At the last count, just recently, we've done studies on this for a number of years, since 2018. An MP is spending on average 10 million Ghana cedis, which is over $600,000. Right? You are nurturing the constituency, you are going to do primaries, you are going to do this, you are going to do that, and then you go and contest. Where do you get $600,000 to go and serve the people? Now, if you are spending $600,000, then definitely when you get into government, you have to recoup it, because some of it you have borrowed. Some of it you have sold your house. You have taken from people. You have made promises to people. So there is no way that you get into government and you will not put your hand in the people's coffers. And remember that when the contest is going on, it's not the 275 MPs that we have elected that are contesting. There are almost 1,000 people that are contesting, and a lot of them don't get to be MPs. So what happens to them? And they would have spent the same amount of money. if you're a president, at the minimum you are spending $100 million or $150 million. Where do you get that money? You will go and promise somebody will come and give you $10 million from Nigeria. Somebody will come and give you $10 million from whatever. How are you paying all of those things back? It's the people's money. So if we don't do something about the way in which we finance our campaigns, we are almost, it's definite that corruption, you can never stop it. And if you can't stop corruption, you will never get development the way that you need it. It's a simple calculation. Because the person is thinking, even if he knows that this person can do the job, no, if I don't give the money to the job to this person so that I can help him pay the loan that I took from him, then I'll be in trouble. So already you have compromised the development projects. So we need to do something fundamentally about the way in which we campaign. In many societies, what happens is that they will cap donations, right? So you cannot donate this amount of money beyond this point to a party or to a candidate. Even if you go and do funeral donation, this is the maximum you can do. So that because we are competing, it ensures that everybody is able to work within that same. Can you justify the number of billboards that we put up for election? But it has become an economy. People will even say, oh, let me do 10 billboards for you, for your election, whether you need it or not. And then you owe me. Somebody will say, oh, let me pay for 100 adverts for you. Let me print 2,000 posters. So we are just spending money that we don't need. So they also cap expenditures. They say, okay, you can do this number of billboards. You have 16 regions. In the popular areas, you can do this number of billboards. You can do this number of adverts on radio. Because there has to be a way to bring the cost down. And if we come to mayors, some have even suggested that, as for mayors, if we are doing it without parties, we should go back to what we had put in for local government assembly elections, where there are actual common platforms that are done by NCC for everybody to come and campaign. So that it's not now that you are going to go and look for money to go and do this election, and now they give you the job and you are looking for ways to recoup it. If the whole point is to serve, then we are doing ourselves a disservice if we don't deal with the monetization issue. So it's a big issue, and I think almost everybody now is complaining about it. But we need the citizens to take an interest, because that's the only way we can protect our development. It's the only way you can protect our development, right? So basically it's a subject matter that through the year, this year, next year, we'll be talking more about it, and we hope that we can work with the youth groups and the platforms to discuss it some more. What also happens in other places? How can it be enforced to make sure that we reduce the cost, so that also the barriers to young people, because where are you going to get $600,000 from? You are looking for what? 1,000 Ghana cedis to go and buy seedlings to go and do agric business, and they say you need 600,000 to go and. It just doesn't make any sense. So if we want young people to get involved, if we want to break these barriers and so on, we need to really deal with these serious issues. I didn't talk about things like proportional representation, particularly at local level, to make sure that communities that are marginalized are represented and all of that. But that could be another conversation. But I want to end here because, as I said, we've had a very long day. But it's been very, very interesting. And I'm promising you that, at least for me, I was really happy with the agribusiness conversation. It means that there is opportunity there. And I'm basically tasking all the groups that we are partnered today to see if there's some way we can move this agenda forward, to see how we can improve the knowledge, as she's saying, what is there in the space, and how can you access it. And then also, what are people thinking in terms of communities, cooperatives, groups that can take on some projects, right? So that we can make a contribution to our own economic independence, whilst we also solicit for government support. All right, so thank you very much. Thank you for all your commitment, effort, and listening to us. Hand over to Alo.
Yeah. Yeah, but then we can't take comments from all the 10 groups. So I'll give a maximum of 6.5, so 7. So yeah, so we are going to take comments. So if it's a comment, you give it. If it's a question, you ask, and feedback. So let's make it very, very short. Okay? Yes. So if you are representing, is it UDS Parliament, you have a maximum of 2 minutes to make your submission. If it is a comment, if it's a feedback you are giving us, if it's a recommendation, it's a question, yeah. The other mic.
All right. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Thank you very much. It's just a comment that I want to make. Once again, my name is Abdurrahman Mahama from Empowerment Center for Peace Building. I just want to make mention that this is an insightful organization program, though. But we should be careful of how we cite the youth into protesting or demanding for what we want. Most of we, the youth, end up, especially every protest, end up in. And sometimes when you are demanding for something, you shouldn't end up even killing yourself for it. When you die, who is going to enjoy that? There are peaceful ways for us to at least go in to demand for what we want, but not for any protest that will end up in riots, in destroying our own future. If you do and end up getting arrested, who is coming to bail you out? Who is taking the blame? But there are certain ways that we can do it peacefully without any other riot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
So
much.
who else? Afro Youth. Yes.
Your organization.
Okay, thank you very much. This is Afro Youth, and my name is Abdul Martin again. So my comment is going to be on the political party financing. That is where I want to make my comment on. And what I want to say is that the major problem that we are facing with regards to the cost of politics and the political party financing is about we, the citizens, our commitment to what we are all want to do as a citizens. When you come to voting, it will surprise you sometimes. It's not that the politicians, not all of them are willingly coming to throw the money to us, But sometimes we are those forcing them to throw the money to us. Those who came and did not spend, you see those people, they lost. So it means that we also set our minds in such a way that we want the money. That's why they are throwing the money to us. And so we need to know that when they throw the money to us, when they go back there, they will have to also what? Refund it, because they also have a family to cater for. And the money that they are paying them as MP is not enough for them to do what they are coming to do for us. Again, when you look at the political party financing, when you check the Political Party Act, the 2000, when you read the act very well, it's like much emphasis is paid on the political parties, but we don't see much is saying about the candidates. You see a candidate who posts himself, I'm coming to contest on the ticket of NDC for what? It's another constituency. I can't receive donation outside the country in the name of the party, but as an individual, I receive support. So I think that I'm not a lawyer though, but I will say that there is a lacuna there, which the Constitutional Review Committee, they also need to take a look on that aspect. We need to include the candidates into that section, so that they can go on behind and take such monies then and come and spend it during the elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, from which group? You, the Students' Parliament. Are you the one doing the contribution on their behalf? Okay, before that, I would like to attend to activists.
The last 3 slots, I'll give it to the females.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity given. I'm the person of Swale Abubakar. I think, though I wasn't given the chance to mention my expectation at the start of the program, but I'm very okay with the presentation, all the presentation. I think a lot has been learned here by all of us. Then the other comments I want to make is on the budget regarding the political parties funding the campaign. Most of the times, our politicians, they sometimes hyper-promise. Some of the promises they make is just too much. It's too, it's the weight, their financial muscle isn't up to that expectation. So when you hyper-promise like that and we are going to hold you accountable, the next 4 years when you come, you just have to use the money to entice the people. That's the only way you can convince us. But it's sometimes fortunate that we have students among ourselves and then we are getting educated or we are being educated. Sometimes now you see that the youth is now changing, voting based on development and not necessarily the money. Me and my types, I wouldn't mind you giving me, I don't want you anything. I look at what you've done and I'm going to vote for you. So our politicians, at least, if they are going to promise, they should promise reasonable. Something that you think you can be able to do, even when your party wins. Because you know the power you have in your party. Sometimes the promise, even if your party wins, you know that you don't hold that power to do such developmental projects to your place. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you, the Students' Parliament.
I would like to commend CDD-Ghana for giving us, we the youth, a voice to speak out our grievances on economic issues. And I would like to thank them very much for inviting us to this program. And I pray and I hope that they organize more programs such as this, because it will help us alleviate our worries. And I want to tell them to please forward our grievances to the higher authorities. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we have GAN, Girls Advocacy Network.
Okay.
Okay, so mine is a suggestion.
Okay.
Okay, so mine is a suggestion. I was thinking that since the government is thinking of providing sanitary pads to their schoolgirls, there's this agribusiness based here called Kodupad. Then they Kodupad.
Kodupad, okay.
Yes, so they manufacture sanitary pads. So the government could purchase the sanitary pads from them and then share it to the students as a way of promoting Ghana-made businesses. Thank you.
Fantastic.
I think someone whispered that into the ears of the minister in charge of education. And fortunately, I mean, the company is within his jurisdiction, Tamale South. So I'm certain he would look into that and perhaps the needed contacting would be done. So Girls Advocacy, Girls Advisory Council, GAC, do you have anything to say? Rima? Okay, Activista, I think they've done their, so Fuyag is here. Ahmad?
Okay, my concern goes to the unemployment. Please, I'm Haruna Amina. My concern goes to the unemployment. I want to ask, what kind of job is a youth looking for? Because looking at the way things are going, like with the youth, people are in the market selling things, and we are sitting there in the house saying that there are no jobs, there are no jobs. Let's assume somebody is selling kenge today. I've completed school, sitting there in the house. The woman will say, oh, Amina, come and help me sell kenge. I'll say, no, this is not the kind of job I'm looking for. And everybody can, like, governments cannot employ everybody. We have to do something for ourselves. We shouldn't be sitting down waiting for the government to employ us. I think that's what I have for.
Okay, thank you very much. So the Northern Regional Youth Network. So Youth Network. Are you from Activista or Youth Network? Are you representing Youth Network? Okay, so Asana is here.
Please, my name is Abdul Kadri Asana, and I'm from the Northern Regional Youth Network. Please, in as much as the youth wants employment and development, I think from the beginning to the end, I didn't hear like we talking about security. I think for the past 4 months, the youth has been dying through murder cases and also accident due to like driving carelessly. So I think we should also put it into like what is the government putting in place to improve the security of the youth, because the youth are dying of late. Thank you.
Okay, I think before I return to my own house, it's important to engage MSEP also, Empowerment Center. No, I think Ralph spoke on behalf of MSEP. So, no, you are the host, so you need to be the last group to speak. So, Tamale or Baga Baga College of Education. Okay.
Thank you very much. This is the first time I've come on the floor. My name goes Sak Abdurrashid, SRC President for BAS. Yes, I sat down, listened to a lot of thoughts from my respected colleagues. In regards to, this one is an advice to our current leaders and future leaders. Let's put our politics aside. This is about our country. Moral values should be ensured. In bringing up our children and we ourselves, let's make sure that we are concerned about our morality. In terms of the MMDCs and the DCs, whether it should be based on election or appointment, in any way we go and we don't change our mindset, we don't reset our mind in terms of our finances, my brother, my sister, we won't get what we want. So please, it's just a caution. Morality is very important.
Thank you.
No matter where you come from. Thank you so much.
Tim Tony.
Okay, thank you very much.
Last two.
Last two.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my second deputy speaker. He would be speaking on behalf of the House.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps I could have gone ahead and do that, but he's here. I wouldn't want to take that.
Speaker, there's a female here who's also part of it. She doesn't want to talk. Under equity.
My name is Hamdia, and I'm from the Northern Regional Youth Parliament. What I want to say is a very big thank you for organizing this program. We have learned a lot, and I want to thank everybody here, especially the youth, for making time to come here for us to deliberate and bring our ideas together. And I hope our voices will be heard. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So Justice, the last person, that's the Taste or Tassi SLC. I would have loved the SLC president himself to
I saw him around.
give his remarks, but he's gone out again. So where's the PRO? I think, okay, so PRO, you are the mouthpiece of the council. So kindly come forward.
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of TASI SRC, that is the host college, we wish to express our profound gratitude to CDD-Ghana for making it a success and hearing out our voices. Our colleagues from our sister institutions, Bagabaga College of Education, I can't mention all. You all, thank you for honoring this information. You are welcome.
Thank you very much,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you very
PRO.
much. That brings us to the end of the contributions, questions, and
Thank you all very much. Your
recommendations.
comments, feedbacks, and questions have been well noted. And one thing I can assure you is that your comments, your suggestions, and feedbacks would reach the appropriate quarters. So stick and stay. I would also urge you to follow CDD Ghana on all social media platforms. Follow us on Twitter, which is now known as X. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. You can also visit our website, www.cddgh.org. And you have very insightful things to learn, the work we do, and you'll be informed as a citizen. So let's get connected on all our social media platforms. Once again, my name is Justice Aloy, and I was honored to be your Master of Ceremony. I'll call on Ms. Joyce Nyami to give us the closing. Is that? Okay, you want to? Okay, so I'll call on Tim Tony, Mr. Tim Tony, who is with Youth Empowerment for Life, right? And also the speaker for the Tamale Northern Regional Youth Parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, he has a very short word to deliver. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, my brother. Just as he indicated, I am a staff of EFL Ghana, and we've been able to put this together as a team. My colleague is here. Ayuba, kindly join me here. I think we deserve some round of applause. Kindly join me here, at least. It's not so well, but he's been able to contribute immensely towards, bringing up this all-important program. So it is important to thank each and every one of you here, especially the group leaders. I've been in touch with you, and I kept telling you that you need to make sure that your members show up. And as our elderly people say, that if fowl is made up of its feathers, without the feathers of a fowl, you won't call it a fowl anymore. It would be maybe roasted chicken or whatsoever. Yes, so I'm glad that you've been able to show up, and you've indeed made this a great success. On behalf of EFL Ghana, and then on behalf of CDD, we would like to say a very big thank you to you. May the Almighty Allah grant you, send you back to your homes safely. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.